Have you ever noticed your outlook on life isn't getting you anywhere? How we see and interpret things in life is core to the quality of life we lead. In this video, we will look at the principles of a good worldview for self-improvement. We will look at three areas: what a worldview is, building blocks for a worldview, testing the quality of a worldview. What a worldview is. A worldview is how you see the world, interpret experiences, how you see yourself, how you see others, how you prioritize your attention. There are both religious and non-religious contexts to worldviews. They can be political or apolitical, they can be well developed and thought through, or they can be just operating at a subconscious level, informed and shaped by outside influences. Building blocks for a worldview. The first building block for a worldview is how you prioritize your attention. We choose where to place our attention. There is always an opportunity cost, something we give up to focus ourselves in a particular place. In order to inform the prioritization of our attention, we have both our morals and ethics to help us do that. Let's think about friendship groups. If there were people that when you spent time with them, you always went against your own values, should you continue to be around them? When we place our attention into content online, the things we stay looking at show us something about our own values. We place our attention to the places that are of most importance to us in the moment. The prioritization of our attention is our central filter for how we spend our time, since time is a finite resource. If where we place our attention is what is most important to us in the moment, then we want to ensure it is most important beyond that moment. The next building block we want to think about is our beliefs about the world, which include things like our standards for evidence and how we see those around us. A key function of belief is the assigned meaning we give to ourselves and the world around. Two people can see the same event, but one sees it positively and the other sees it negatively. The event is what happened, but the meaning changes based on the worldview being used to interpret the event. Therefore, ensuring our beliefs are robust and helpful for the self-improvement we want to achieve is essential, otherwise we risk operating out of beliefs that will be a hindrance. The building block, which is related to beliefs, is purpose. We can think of purpose in two parts. The first is, who are we? The second is, what are we going to do with our lives? We can think about the building blocks of identity being our past, as in our family, the history of the tribe we are from, and the country we are part of. Moving into the present, we can look at the culture we have been brought up in, what our capabilities are, what our personality traits are, our values, and also what do people we trust think of us. The next area of purpose is what we are going to do with our lives. For this, we want to think about what we are good at, what we enjoy doing, and our potential. The other dimension of this is inspiration and motivation, as this helps us with our thinking. What do we find ourselves in awe of that is beautiful? What encourages us to keep going with improvements we want to make in our lives? Testing the quality of a worldview. The whole point of a worldview is that it helps us navigate the world in a way that feels purposeful, enjoyable, and improves our lives. A good test of a worldview being not right for us is if our worldview gives us an opposite conclusion to what we have experienced and the meaning we have derived from it. If we have that, then we need to either modify or replace elements of our worldview. An example from my own life was when I believed everything about myself was bad and that I had no good qualities. What that did was put meaning onto life circumstances, both good and bad, which reinforced that negative view. So it brought me to isolate myself from others and had a bad impact on my mental health. When I changed that by accepting the good qualities people had said about me and looking to build friendships in my life instead of isolating myself, that situation changed. I realized some of the bad things were false and some of them I believed I could change. I also realized that every human has flaws and that by showing myself some kindness, I was able to focus on strengthening the good qualities people saw in me and changing the bad things I knew I could change. So in this, my worldview shifted for the better. If our worldview changes our personality to be something that we do not want to be, then that would flag that something about our worldview needs to change. Particularly if our worldview is changing our personality in a bad way, is turning us into a horrible human being to other people. A worldview founded on viewing other people in a bad way would also be something to look at that is worth changing. We want a worldview that gives us an explanation of the things around us, provides a good filter for our attention, helps bring us to a place of both contentment and achieving our potential, so that our worldview is then facilitating the self-improvement we want. If it is hindering that, then we know things need to be completely changed or modified. As I have modified and changed my own worldview, I have gained many of my own self-improvements. As you adapt your worldview for your self-improvement desires, it will help you focus your attention on those things. Like birds of a feather, we grow together.